So good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are tuning in from. You're welcome to this week's Forex Outlook with Trade Fight FX for the 4th to the 8th of December 2023. So as always, we're going to start off with the economic calendar. Well, this week we have Aussie on Tuesday is going to be interesting. We have cash rate and rate statement. Wednesday, Bank of England, the governor is speaking. We have non-farm employment change on Wednesday. Bank of Canada rate statement. That will be very interesting. Thursday, we have unemployment claims. That would also be very interesting. Then Friday is non-farm payroll. So that out of the way, let's get down to our chart. As always, we're going to start off with US 100. That's MT4 variation of NASDAQ. Dollar index, Euro USD, GBP USD, gold, EURGBP, pound yen, and euro yen. So I'm going to start off with US 100. This pair is still bullish. Structure wise on this pair is still bullish. But if you go down to the daily, you'll notice our price is kind of consolidating between this weekly fair value gap and this daily fair value gap here. So where are these fair value gaps coming in from? The weekly fair value gap is here. And the daily fair value gap is down here. This is where the daily fair value gap is. And if you notice, this weekly fair value gap coincides with this swing high on the daily. So if you look at price basically has been swinging below it. So this pair, although it's still bullish, but he's in a kind of a consolidation below this level. And structure-wise, we might see a bit of a retracement. We might see a bit of a retracement, probably to sweep these lows and then probably continue to the upside. So this pair is in kind of a bullish consolidation. So we need to be aware of that. So you'll be waiting for a retracement, probably sweep this low, then give you bullish evidence to continue to the upside. The next we are going to be looking at is the dollar index. The dollar index is still bearish. Structure-wise, it's still bearish. If we go down to the daily, just like last week, the review for last week, if you go back and watch it, it got to our TP point, which is this fair value gap. And that was where it reacted from on Friday, Thursday, Wednesday, from Wednesday. That was where it reacted from. So if you go down to the 4-hour time frame, now, this is where you need to pay a little bit of attention. This pair is still bearish structure-wise, but there is a warning here. There's a warning here. This high was used to break this low. If this is to continue down, they are not to close above this high. They've closed above it. So going into this new week, looking at this DXY, it depends on what they do on Monday. It depends on what they do on Monday. If it rallies first, watch for rejection and down here. If they drop first, watch for a reaction here, something like this. Then for a move like this. Because I have a feeling, based on what I'm seeing on this chart, that there is a possibility we might see a higher low and then a move probably towards this place on the dollar index. So the dollar index, although structure-wise is still down, there's a possibility we might see a kind of a corrective move to the upside on the dollar index. The next we're going to be looking at is EURUSD. EURUSD is still bullish. Structure-wise, he's still bullish. But just like I said last week, I said it's going to close up this fair value gap, and it has done that. But if we look at this on the 4-hour time frame, it's still bullish, but I have a feeling we might see a rally and a little bit of a steeper retracement on this pair. We have a short-term high here. So depends on what they do on Monday. Depends on what they do on Monday. There's a daily fair value gap here. It's a daily fair value gap here. So if they rally and get rejected from here, then we might be seeing price trying to run for previous week's low. Still bullish, but order flow is pointing to the fact that we might see a little bit of a lower retracement on this pair before a continuation. So this pair, the bullishness on this pair holds as long as price stays above 106.56. So that's your line in the sand for Euro USD bullish continuation. The next pair we're going to be looking at is GBPUSD. This pair is still bullish. This pair is still bullish, but if we look at it from the weekly, is at 62% of 1.3142 to 1.2037. Let me change this so that you can see the fibs well. Is at 62 or 61.8% and it rejected. So going into this new week, go back to the daily. The possibility is that it might sweep this high and then move lower. If we go down to the 4-hour, we can see it. So it depends on what price does. I would prefer it doesn't sweep high. I would prefer it retraces into this 4-hour fair value gap, hold, and then rally. But if it rallies first, and gives something like this, then it's going to go back up. That's what we have on this pair. That's what we have on the GBPUSD. The next one we're going to be looking at is gold. Gold is very bullish for now. Gold is still very, very bullish for now. And as you can see, price really took out this high and 2070. So I believe the next target is going to be 2075.28. I think that's where price is going to sweep for next. So it depends on what they do on Monday, how they come out on Monday. Would they strike for the high or would they pull back first and continue to the upside? So this pair is still bullish. Any retracement is going to offer an opportunity for longs, provided we don't get a structure like this first. Maybe something like this. If we get a structure like this before coming into this point, then this fair value gap is going to be the drawn liquidity. So that's what we have for gold. The next pair we're going to be looking at is EURGBP. This pair played out well last week. If you watch the review for last week, I said this pair is going to go down to the downside, and it really did go down to the downside. So looking at where price is now, price is slightly at a rejection of the weekly. You don't want to be taking a short here. So for this pair, what you'll be waiting for is a bullish evidence for price to come up into any of these levels here. Into any of these levels here. So if you would ask me, I would just say this low to this point is where you'll be looking for a short opportunity on this pair. And if it should continue, then you'll be looking at, if you can see, there's a tiny fair value gap here. And we have this 0.8523 as possible draw on liquidity for price. Then the next pair we're going to be looking at is a pound yen. A pound yen didn't play out as we expected. Thought it would continue, but it retraced. So this pair is slightly tilted to the downside. It's slightly tilted to the downside, but structure-wise is still bullish. Structure-wise is still bullish. So for this pair, what will signal the continuation of the long move, as you can see, we have almost equal highs here. So this liquidity. So we might see something like this. Once we see something like this, then we know that price is going to run for this high. Depends on what they do on Monday. If they decide to sweep the lows like this, then you might see the continuation. So this pair is still slightly tilted to the upside, but order flow for now is on the downside. So we'll be waiting for a break of a high as a signal to continue to the upside on this pair. Last but not the least is the euro yen. Just like I said last week, I'm not so sure this guy will continue his bullish run. So of all the pairs, this is more bullish than the pound yen. So for this pair, basically any rally on it should be an opportunity for a short.
Ah, you said it's bullish.
No, sorry. I said he's not as bullish as the pound yen last week. If you watch the video of last week, I said he's not as bullish. So although structure wise, if you look at the daily structure wise, it's still bullish on the daily structure wise. Still slightly bullish on the daily structure wise, but the break of this low has signaled that we are looking at a short-term high here at 164.30. So what does that imply? That any rally on this pair is going to be an opportunity for a short into this fair value gap or 157.69. So that settles it for this week. Any questions? Any questions? So in the absence of any questions, I thank you all for taking your time to attend. I wish you all a beautiful weekend and a blessed trading week ahead. Don't forget to like and share the video on YouTube. Thank you all and good night.
Good night.